Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be having a look at 6 new Pokemon GXs. And on the one hand, we're like, yeah, 6 new GXs. And on the other hand, we're like, well, hang on a second. 6 of them released at once and being in one video. Does that mean they're not particularly great? Yeah, generally, I'm afraid it means they're not particularly great. But we do need to have a look because there could be some use for some of these. Now, these are being released in the kind of family decks over in Japan that are designed to be a little bit simpler and help people learn to play the game. And in each of the decks, you get 2 GXs. So let's have a look at them in pairs, shall we? First of all, we have the Charizard deck. And these Pokemon are vanilla in the... Now, it's not the same for all of them, but 4 of these 6 are vanilla, both the ones in the Charizard deck are. That means their attacks just do straight damage. It means that they do not do anything else. So if we have a quick look at Charizard GX, we've got 250 HP. That's fairly gigantic. And that's about where the good stuff ends. Now, the GX attack here is awesome. 2 fire, 2 colorless energy, 300 damage is great. That is enough to KO a Magikarp and Wailord Tag Team GX. It is just ridiculous. It is a huge amount of damage. And actually, I don't know if there are any, there certainly are not many GX attacks that can hit this number. It's huge. It's even enough to get Magikarp and Wailord, and you can use a double colorless energy. And it's expensive, but it's not too bad. Not to mention being a fire Pokemon, we can use Kiawe. But then the main attack, fire, double colorless, 140 damage. I mean, look, with a choice band, you'll get a Tapu Lele, but that's about all we can say about it. And that's not strictly true. You'll get non-GXs like the non-GX Buzzwole, for instance, but it's still a pretty underpowered attack. I mean, if we look at the other Charizard GX, okay, you've got to discard a bunch of energy, but you're still doing 300 for 5 energy. And if we look at the one that's going to be coming in Detective Pikachu, okay, you've got to add on another colorless energy, but you're then up to 200 and KOing pretty much any GX. It's fine, it's not stunning. If we have a look at Pinsir here, it's a grass Pokemon, and this is weird, right? This is new. We've not had a Pinsir GX. We were not expecting a Pinsir GX, but ladies and gentlemen, we've only gone and got ourselves a Pinsir GX. It's just not terribly good. Grass, colorless, 110 is a weak attack. It is enough to KO a Lycanroc because of weakness. That's good. You'll get a Tapu Koko without weakness. But you can't use double colorless energy, so it's free energy attachments, and 110 is weak. As for the GX attack, 160 for free energy. No! There's a whole bunch of Pokemon like Buzzwole GX that can do 160 for just free energy. And it's not a GX attack. GX attacks are your once per game attack. This is the you can only use one of them, it's the only one you get for the entire game. At least Charizard has a decency to have a huge GX attack. This one is frankly, it's weak, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's just plain weak. And I do have a lot of sympathy for Pinsir fans right now, because you've been waiting, well, since GXs were revealed, and there was no Pinsir EX. Pinsir does not get a lot of love in terms of the chase cards, and now, after all of that, it's not even good. Now, we are getting a new Mewtwo GX, which has the same attack as Pinsir, colored, colorless energy, 110 damage. And it's got the same HP at 180. So, I mean, what I will say is the weakness here is quite nice because you are KOing Buzzwole. Buzzwole is extremely relevant, but that's about it. The good news is this is not a vanilla GX attack. It does 120 damage for the same energy cost. All these Pokemon have the same cost for both their attacks, which does make a lot of sense. It does 120 damage, but according to the lovely David Hockman over at Rappelman TCG, we got our translations from him, ladies and gentlemen. Who else would we go to? You get to discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, like essentially an infinite Team Flare Grunt. And I actually quite like this. Now, it's an expensive attack, to be sure. You know, Psychic, Colourless is not ideal. But remember, this is a Psychic Pokemon, so you can use Malamar. And you get to discard all the energy attached to the active while doing 120. It's still not a phenomenal card, but I actually like this. It's underpowered compared to the other Mewtwo GX, no argument there. That does 200 for its GX attack. But discarding all the energy, being able to whack it with Malamar, this has maybe the most potential of all of them. And then we also have a Gyarados GX, 230 HP. Now that is a lot for a Stage 1 GX. The thing is, the other Gyarados actually had 240, so it's still a little bit weaker than that. Free water, 1 colourless energy, 130 damage. There's no way around it. That is not an efficient use of your energy. Really not. Now, the good news is, being a water deck, or water Pokemon put in a water deck, you do have the combination of Naganadel and Quagsire, which can accelerate the energy onto you, which is very nice. But it's 4 energy, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you want to give up 2 prizes while playing a water-based GX, how about Lapras that does 160 for free energy? And I know you can't attack next turn, but there's plenty of stuff like Guzma, which means it doesn't matter. GX attack, free energy, 240. And look, what I will say is, 240 with a choice band will even be KOing tag team GXs like Eevee and Snorlax, or Celebi and Venusaur. That's quite nice. The bad news is, it's for 4 energy, and the first attack isn't particularly good. If you want just a smashy big damage GX attack, it's not up there with Charizard, but it ain't terrible. Then we move into the final of the decks, the final of the pairs, Raichu GX. Now, bearing in mind, we quite like Raichu, the regular Raichu, 160 for free energy, 20 damage for each energy attached to all of your Pokemon, each lightning energy. There's a lot to like about it. This one, not so much. Lightning, colourless, 120, which, on the one hand, it's 10 more than Pinsir for the exact same cost. And when I say exact same, I mean coloured. Obviously, Pinsir's grass and this is lightning. Although Pinsir is a basic and this is a stage 1. But the other Raichu does 160 for free energy, which is a lot better. And okay, it takes some self-damage, but even so, it's quite a bit more. GX attack is a vanilla GX attack. Lightning, colourless, 200 damage. Well, I mean, it's not as much as Gyarados or Charizard, but it is for fewer energy. Now, the good news for Raichu is that you do have Thunder Mountain, which reduces your attack cost by 1 lightning energy. And you do have Tapu Koko Prism Star, which can accelerate a little bit of energy. So we've got some options here. We can essentially turn these into single energy attacks. And as a turn 2, I've evolved up Thunder Mountain, Tapu Koko, 200 damage. I actually don't mind this. This is one of those that I could see seeing a little bit of play. And as we finish off with Wigglytuff, Wigglytuff gets the honour here of being the only Pokemon with a non-vanilla attack. Fairy, colourless energy, and according to the lovely David Hockman, 100 damage. Flip a coin until you flip tails. This attack does 30 more damage for each heads. Now, this is the usual place where I would mention the Victini from Guardians Rising. Allows you to reflip. And this is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. If you flip a lot of heads, this gets really, really big, really, really quickly. Look, with a Victini, you should be hitting 130, which for free energy makes it the best of the first attacks on all of these Pokemon. So, it's not terrible. And then Fairy, colourless, same cost again, 130 damage. heal all damage from this Pokemon. So you get to heal up completely. It's like you've got a max potion, except you haven't had to discard any energy. And if you're hitting for weakness against something like a Rayquaza, or you're hitting a non-GX like the aforementioned Buzzwole, yes! One hit KO with healing is actually really good. The problem is you do 130. With a choice band, that's 160. That's not getting anything relevant. I suppose you could add Shrine of Punishment, but that'll hurt you as much as it hurts your opponent. And look, I know these Pokemon aren't amazing. And I know that they've all got 2 attacks, whereas the standard thing, except for extremely rare exceptions, like Ultra Necrozma and Venomoth, who I think might be the only 2, they all have 3 attacks or 2 attacks and an ability. These just have 2 attacks, but they're supposed to be a bit simpler and a bit easier. But actually, Charizard 300 damage GX attack is pretty good. Raichu and Gyarados both have big GX attacks with decent energy acceleration. And I can see Mewtwo's GX attack seeing a little bit of play in Malamar decks here and there. I don't think any of these are stunning must-play cards, but I do kind of like the artwork, and it's big, 3D, and simple. But there's something about them I like, and look at Wigglytuff's face and tell me that's not adorable. I dare you. These were designed for families and to help people learn. They were never going to be great. But I'm not going to complain about more lovely little GXs, even if they're not the most playable cards. Although, like I've said, there is potential in a couple of these. But ladies and gentlemen, tell me which one's your favourite. I'm assuming it's Wigglytuff, but just in case it isn't, tell me which one's your favourite in the comment section. Go nuts! And of course, do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? Then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do please make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk other games. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.